obviously back-to-back losses never feel good, but where is kind of the mindset of your defense right now? Where's kind of the focus?
Next game.
Lately here in Vegas, 3rd and 19, rising is right on target. Money cards from 3. Dampier to the end zone. Oh, what an adjustment! Shot! It dropped by Lance Holtzclaw.
Double coverage in the pass is intercepted. Rock Caldwell picked it off.
And they say touchdown. Utah goes 3 wide here on 3rd and goal. They'll split out Parker as well. He's the 4th in the pattern.
Touchdown, Utah.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 4, Sam LeSueur Show. Sorry, I say this every time. It's kind of been a minute since the last episode, but it's okay because every episode is just getting better and better. And today we have a legend on the show, Utah legend quarterback Jordan Wynn, Pac-12 legend, by the way. Awesome.
You're too kind.
How you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? It's Friday.
Oh, we're happy that it's Friday. We're happy to be here and everything.
Oh, yeah.
We're just happy you're on the pod, by the way. So
happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks, man. Anyway, just kind of want to dive right into it. Obviously, Utah legend. You've had a long career. Kind of just to go back to the beginning, right? It's like, let's kind of start from the beginning in high school. You got a lot of offers and everything. Originally committed to Colorado, but you had offers from, Arizona State, Iowa State, Purdue, many others. So you ended up committing to Colorado, and then you flipped to Utah. So, and I remember when this happened. I was only around like 7 years old when this happened. By the way. So I was a young guy, but I remember all this. I was a big fan. So, I just wanted to kind of see how that whole process went. What kind of led you to Utah?
Yeah, good question. This is a long time ago, man. This is like 18 years ago now. I'm dating myself, but gosh, I mean, back then Utah was my first offer, which meant a lot, right? It's always important. That means they wanted me to come here before anybody else did. And so that weighed a lot on it, and really it came down to Colorado and Utah. They were the top two. At the time, Utah was still in the Mountain West, which I was a little leery about. And so when I committed to Colorado, it was primarily to be able to play in the Big 12. I wanted to play against Oklahoma and Texas, Oklahoma State. Back then, A&M was in the Big 12. And so that was like the biggest reason why. Then fast forward, midway through that year, Utah was going undefeated, ended up going to the Sugar Bowl, beating Alabama. Colorado was not going undefeated. They were pretty bad. And I remember I took my official visit there, and they played Texas, and it was a good Texas team, had Colt McCoy and all those guys, and they kind of just got boat raced at home, like 56-7. And I remember I was like, man, this is going to be different. Like I've growing up and playing youth sports, and in high school, I played on winning teams. I wasn't accustomed to losing. And so that kind of started to, play a factor and make me reconsider my decision. And the whole time, Utah was still calling me every week. Back then, they could call you one time a week. They were calling me every week. And so, their big pitch was like, Brian Johnson's graduating. You're going to have a chance to play as a freshman. We're going undefeated. We have a good roster coming back. Changed my mind in November, I think it was. And it was actually right after Utah beat TCU in 2008 at the blackout game at the very end. And I called Kyle the next day and committed, and that was that, man. Enrolled. I was here in January, so it was like 6 weeks later I was here on campus.
Wow. Hey, we're grateful for it. Winning teams, we're really happy that you came over. But yeah, anyways, you kind of talked about it a little bit. But yeah, Brian Johnson, quarterback before you.
Yep.
Terrence Kane was there.
Yep.
I was curious about this. So like when you enrolled early because you went to spring early. So when did you kind of know that I'm sure the coaches were telling you this and stuff, but when did you know that you're I really do have a shot to play as a true freshman here? How did that kind of all, I'm sure you're always confident in yourself, but it's like,
Yeah.
when did you really know?
Yeah, it's a good question. Probably not till the end of that spring. So when my first day on campus, I'll never forget, they asked me to step on the scale and I was 151 pounds. And I remember I thought they were going to kill me. I thought they were going to tell me to go home right then and there.
Wait,
But
seriously? You were 150?
swear. Yep.
No
I
way.
swear.
That's
I'll never
crazy.
forget it. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And so it's, Terrence and I both enrolled early. So we both showed up the same day.
Yeah.
And Corbin Laux was Brian's backup. He was on campus still. And I remember going through winter conditioning. Everything was just really fast, right? Like we started to do workouts and stuff and throw. And I just was like, okay, everybody's a lot faster than I played against in high school. So there was a learning curve there. And then spring ball started and I didn't get a ton of reps. Corbin was getting a ton of the reps with the ones and Terrence was getting the reps with the twos. And like, I'd get a couple here and there. And so that was different. I was used to being the starter my entire life, right? So it gave me a good perspective. I sat back and watched and soaked everything in, and I asked a lot of questions in meetings, took a lot of mental reps. And like the third week or fourth week of spring ball, Corbin had like a nerve injury or something. Something weird happened to where he had to sit out, and so that allowed a huge opportunity for me. So Terrence started to get the reps with the ones and I started to get the reps with the twos. And back then in spring ball, a lot of the times, like the number one offense would go against the number two defense and vice versa. So I was going against the number one defense. I mean, Robert Johnson, Stevenson Sylvester, Koemisi, all these guys that I was just watching in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
And again, very fast. But I was starting to realize I was starting to pick it up. And so at the end of spring, we played in the spring game. And I think I threw 2 touchdowns and I just had fun, man. And that was when I started to realize, like, okay, I think I have a chance at least being competitive in this battle come the fall. And then Kyle announced that the QB job was wide open going into the summer. And that's when I, really started to have a lot of confidence. And then, yeah, man, that last week of spring ball and the spring game was when I realized I actually have a chance here.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And like I said, everybody, like the fan base was really excited about you, around that time and everything. It's like, I've always been huge on recruiting. So like, I remember when everybody committed and everything. So it's like, I remember you as a prospect and like, we were real stoked about you. So we were excited about it. But anyway, so that was 2009, right?
Yep. Yep.
So let's see, the Utes, you guys did pretty good that year, finished the bowl game against Cal, Poinsettia Bowl. Hey, we got the Poinsettia Bowl MVP on the show.
That's right.
We literally got the Poinsettia Bowl.
I'll do you one better here in my office. Dude. It sits right here on my desk. It's on my Zoom call.
Let's go. Dude, let's go. This is better than I could have ever imagined. This is exactly what we want. That's so sick. I love that. But yeah, Poinsettia Bowl MVP against Cal. What sticks out to you the first year at Utah?
There was a lot, man. There was a lot of things. Obviously, like the beginning of the year, Terrence was the starter, so that was super new for me. I remember just trying to do my best to be supportive and be positive, but it was hard. I didn't like sitting on the sideline, and I'll never forget, we were playing Air Force. It was the week before I actually ever got to go in, and there were some talks that I was going to go in that game. We ended up beating Air Force in overtime. It was a lot closer than it probably should have been. And the next week, dude, it's like you can't draw it up, man. I remember calling my dad Monday and Tuesday, like, hey, I think I'm playing this week. You should probably come out here. And he wasn't able to come out, but I remember it was Halloween night, and it was the blackout game, and it was Wyoming.
Yes.
I'll never forget it. We're losing at halftime to Wyoming, and I'm sitting there on the sideline. I'm like, these guys are good. They're fast. But I'm like, it's Wyoming. We should smoke these guys. And Dave Schramm, the offensive coordinator and my quarterback coach, and the guy who recruited me walked in at halftime and just walked right up to me and said, "You're going in. Get ready." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then throwing my first touchdown in Rice Eccles was a wheel route. I'll never forget, to Jeremy Brooks. Towards the north end zone. Awesome memory. Never felt an adrenaline rush like that. And then I kind of settled in. I had a good game against New Mexico the next week. Then we played TCU, tough on the road, really tough. That was a big, like, okay, these guys are really good. That was different. And then fast forward, because I won't talk about what happened when we played in Provo that year, but we went to, so Cal, I wanted to go to Cal, man. That was like, Jeff Tedford was the QB guru back then when I was getting recruited. And I'll never forget, he told my dad, he came to Oceanside High, watched me work out, said I was really good, but I was too small. I'm like, okay. So we get picked to play them in the bowl game, and I was just chomping at the bit, man. I was going to get my revenge. And I did, lit them up, threw for like 3 touchdowns, MVP. Back home at Qualcomm in San Diego, my dad had like a taco truck. Like the tailgate party he had was insane. I had like 100 tickets.
That's sick.
Yeah, man. It was a great way to end my freshman year. Like, a lot of good memories. It was the only time I was healthy, which is crazy, but there was a lot of good things that came from that season and a lot of learning and growing.
Oh, I love that. It's your first time playing. Is like, how was that like in the stadium? Was it like everything you thought it was going to be?
Yeah. I mean, when you're out there, it's you're so like in a flow state, you don't hear anything. But I remember like the ball being in the air, him catching it, and I'm just like letting myself hear the noise, and it was loud. I remember I was like, dang, this is a loud place.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's fun. I'm glad. But yeah, anyways, you started talking about it a little bit. Like, everybody knows Jordan Wynn and the shoulder injuries. Like, it's like, goes hand in hand. It's like the legend, but he's like had so many injuries. Do you just kind of want to like talk about that? I know it's not a great subject.
No, man, that's all right.
Like how was that? How was it dealing with that? It's like setback after setback.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
I mean, it's hard, man. The hardest part, like, you play football, injuries happen, right? It's common. It's going to happen. You're going to get banged up. I think the hardest part for me was, like, once I had my throwing shoulder operated on, so that was at the end of 2010. I just was never the same. I mean, I think everybody could see it. I just couldn't throw the same. And so to walk out on the field, like, knowing that was like pretty challenging mentally. Like the first Pac-12 game, the inaugural Pac-12 game, right? We go play at SC. It's, again, another like dream scenario back in Southern California at the Coliseum. If you were to ask my dad, it was like he couldn't believe he was walking in the Coliseum to watch his son play. For me, I don't know if I've ever been more stressed in my life, because I got to walk into the Coliseum and try and beat a really good SC team, and I can maybe throw the ball 40 yards. And so just the like mental side of things towards the end, especially in 2011 and 2012, just was pretty taxing. The surgeries are the surgeries, man. Like, they kept doing one on my non-throwing arm, and that's ultimately why I had to stop playing football. But like, I'll be honest, I'm 20 years old. It's my left arm. I don't need it. Cut it off for all I care. Like, I don't need it. But when they did the operation on my right arm, on my throwing arm, that was the toughest one. That took the longest rehab. And so, again, I'm super grateful for my time. I look back with so many fond memories, but those were like challenging, dark days, getting up, and you can't, like, you had to retrain my arm. I mean, it's a weird thing to do at 20, 21 years old, and then not be able to get to the same level you were, right? It's like your mind is telling you to do something and your body can't do it. Super frustrating, super taxing, but also like a lot of growth, man. A lot of personal growth happened during those times. I lean on those times during times that are challenging now. Like, if I can get through that and go out and step in front of large crowds and keep it together and put on a show and perform, like, there's not a lot in this life that's going to be more challenging than that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And also, it's like, just thinking about it, it's like you really, like, you're just like early young 20s kid. And it's
I was
it's
a
like,
kid, man.
it's like just such a tough thing to go through mentally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's like kind of formed you and shaped you as you've gone along.
Totally.
So,
100%.
So I look up to that a lot. But another thing I was just, curious about is, like, obviously the injuries, it's like a sad thing, but it's like with the Pac-12, right? You were in the building, in the room for the transition, how was that? Because that was a big moment for the University of Utah moving to the Pac. So kind of just what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. They were already pretty early on talks about it. Like, I even think during my recruiting, they were already kind of starting to mention it. And so it was one of those things where I was like, we'll see if this actually comes to fruition. And so during that 2010 season when they made the announcement. I mean, cool, man. It's a dream come true for me growing up in Southern California. Like I grew up watching the Pac-10. And so, to be able to be fortunate enough to play in that conference, albeit only a couple games, but to play in the first ever Pac-12 game, like is a memory, again, it was tough and we lost, but it's a memory I'll have for the rest of my life. It was incredible to be a part of. It was, again, growing up, I watched all those teams play, and so to say that I was a part of that conference is super special to me. And the buzz in the program was insane. I mean, we went from playing, again, the Wyomings and, New Mexico's of the world. And again, nothing against them. They're good programs. But from that to playing, SC and Oregon and Arizona State and all these schools, it was awesome, man. It was a really cool experience.
That's awesome. And you were kind of talking about it. So like how much of a factor was that? Like, did that weigh into your decision to go to Utah at all? Or like,
no,
nobody was
talking? Yeah, it was so early. Like I remember even thinking if this does come to fruition, awesome, but this isn't a deciding factor because I mean, look, people tell you whatever you'll want to hear in recruiting to get you in the building, right? So my main thing when I was being recruited is I just wanted a chance to play early. And wherever situation would allow me to do that, that was probably the biggest weighing factor. Like I didn't want to go and redshirt and sit behind a guy for 3 years and deal with that. Like I wanted to play right away. So even though they were talking about the Pac-12 stuff, it really didn't register for me during recruiting, but once it came to fruition, man, it was awesome. I mean, we had like the Pac-12 day up at the Capitol building, which was sweet. And I mean, all the new like logo changes and everything. There was so much buzz around the program. It was fun to be a part of.
Oh, awesome. And then like you said, you play a few games in the Pac-12. I mean, it's in like you were talking about it, like with the shoulder injuries and everything. It's just it was a tough watch as a fan, just to see you like have to go through that, and also just like it really is like as a fan, it was hard for us. I can't imagine what it's like for you. But so it's like, I remember the day that like you said that you were going to retire from football.
Yeah.
Like I remember that day and I remember hearing about it and just being like, man, it's just like that's just so sad. Like it's so sad. Not I don't want to like be super down.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
It's just like it's sad because it's it's like I'm sure a lot went into that decision. Like what kind of led up to those decisions to decide you're like it's time to hang it up for this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget the day. It was hard. You do something your whole life, and it's weird to walk away from. It's the unfortunate thing with sports. We all get told no. We all get told we can't play anymore at some age, whether it's 10, 22, or I think Tom Brady made it to 45. We all get told no eventually. You don't think you'll get told no at 22, especially with the trajectory I had at least early on, right? Like I remember after my freshman year, I was like, cool, I'm going to keep getting bigger. I'm going to keep getting better. I don't know what'll happen, but I'm at least going to get a chance at the NFL, I think, if I keep this rate up. And so what went into it really was, I mean, the team docs had already told me after the third surgery in 2011, like, hey, we probably can't do this many more times. You're starting to risk some pretty long-term damage to your shoulder. So I had a pretty good idea going into the 2012 season that if something were to happen, it'd probably be my last go around here. And then at that point, the NFL was, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about the NFL. At that point, I was damaged goods and I wanted to play one more year of football, really is what it came down to. So, took the hit from Will Davis up at Utah State, a little nickel guy that just put his helmet right in the right place. And right when it happened, I had a pretty good idea. That was probably the last play I'll ever play. And then Sunday had a big meeting, like with Coach Witt, our trainers, our doctors. I think my dad was on the phone, and it was a collaborative decision ultimately with the future in mind, which I appreciate now, especially. Back then I was pretty like again, it was my left arm. I was like, why can't you just fix it again? I don't care. I don't need this. I don't need this arm. And thankfully, again, to their benefit and to the benefit of myself, their job is to keep me safe. And so they were just like, hey, in good faith, we can't do this. So at that point, I remember, I didn't want to have a big didn't want to make it a big deal. I kind of wanted to just drift away and let things happen. But our SID gal, Liz Abel, who was a stud, she was incredible. She handled all the media requests. She had the idea of like, hey, it might be best if you do this like press conference style, and that way you don't have to keep answering questions about it week in and week out as the year goes on.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated, because that would have made it really difficult. So yeah, we had made the announcement. She held the press, announced the press conference, and so I was able to kind of say what I needed to say, filled a couple questions, and then it was really never brought up again, which was nice. I didn't have to keep answering questions about it, right? And yeah, man, tough decision, but again, everything I think happens for a reason. There's a master plan at work, and I love my life now. I'm very grateful for my life, and I'm very grateful for the time I had, injuries included. People ask me all the time. They're like, if you could go do it all over again, would you? And I tell them every time, in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even wouldn't take 1 second for me to think about it. I'd do it all over again if I could.
That's awesome. Yeah. And no, thanks for sharing that. It's like also just like on behalf of like all of the Utes, all the Utah fans, we're really grateful for you and like for you going through all that. For real.
Appreciate that.
Like, it's like this is, it's like this was I grew up watching you. I grew up watching, all those guys. So it's like people really, you make a lot of sacrifices. So
no, man, I appreciate it.
So
yeah. Thank you.
Anyways, but yeah, thanks for talking about that. I know it's not an easy thing to talk about.
It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, you ended up graduating from the U. You got a degree in economics.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, got an economics degree. Yeah. I was just wanted to maybe talk a little bit about like kind of the coaches and everything.
Yeah.
I was on in there. So like Kyle, right? Kyle's a legend. We all love Kyle. Did you like Kyle as a coach, like as a quarterback?
Love Kyle. Yeah. I have nothing but great things to say about Kyle. It was interesting playing for him. He's a defensive guy, obviously. So our interactions were a lot more personal than about football. Checking in with how I was doing. I mean, one of the reasons why I considered Utah, he's like the most personable head coach I talked to during recruiting. He knew everyone in my family by first name. And that didn't change once I got here. He kept asking me, I'd bump into him and it wasn't, hey, how's your dad doing? It's, hey, how's Rob doing? How's your brother Connor doing? Like it was so unique. The guy's a machine. I mean, he remembers everybody. So I loved playing for him. I think his recipe for success has proven to work for a long time. So I have nothing but great things to say about him.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we love Kyle. We love Kyle.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, there is some hard feelings there with some people, not everybody, but I think it's good to hear stuff from like, players that were directly played with him, because he really is a good guy. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, for sure. But also, I mean, Morgan was in the room with you as well, right? So how was your relationship with Morgan? Like, did you guys have a close relationship? He was also a defensive guy, but so curious about that.
Yeah, same thing. Didn't talk to him a ton about football. It was more personal stuff, checking in, how I was seeing how I was doing. Later on, when I came back on the staff in recruiting, talked to Morgan a little bit more. I'll say this, like the guy's like a football savant. He's like one of the smartest football minds I've ever been around. Incredibly detail oriented and so much energy and passion for the university. It like exudes out of him. He's just fun to be around, man. He's a great guy, great football coach, great football mind. Again, another guy on the staff that like I didn't have a ton of interaction with just because he was on the other side of the ball. But one of the guys, like you walk past in the hall and like your day's better after you talk to Morgan Scally.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I get the vibe, that exact vibe from him too.
Yeah.
Just like such a nice guy. My grandpa actually was was a Sigma Chi with his dad. So like he's told a lot of stories about his dad and
nice.
Just a great family and everything.
Yeah.
So
totally.
I just think everybody's, we're in good hands with
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, basically I wanted to get your take, the Utah Utes this year, right? Morgan's first year, we got a new offensive coordinator. We got Devin Dampier coming back. We got a stacked wide receiver room. What does Jordan Wynn think about our offense next year? What do you think? Like, what are your predictions?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, I guess TBD, really. I mean, I think every year there's a lot of excitement around the offense. It's been that way for a decade. I think everybody knows Utah can play defense. It's always been, can they, kind of finally make that jump into being an explosive offense? Like, I look at last year's offense, scored a lot of points. I don't know if you characterize them as explosive. That's what I would like to see from my seat. And that's more of from a fan, me being a fan, than anything. Like when I grew up, I wanted to play quarterback because I watched Brett Favre. Brett Favre looked like that dude had the most fun on the field, threw the ball all over the park, laughed, joked, talked his talk. And so I love watching that. We just don't see a lot of deep shots from Utah football a ton lately. And so I'm hoping, with what the new OC did at Utah State with Bryson, they seem pretty prolific on offense and that they got the ball down the field. I'm hoping we see that. If we see that, like, this team is really good. They have a chance certainly to make the postseason, which is what everybody wants. They just need to just even provide the threat that they're explosive, because even just that at least keeps the defense honest. If they have that, it'll be a fun year to watch. But again, either way, I'm an alumni. I bled for that place. I'll love it. I'll love it if they win no games. But yeah, I'd like to see some shots down the field, man. I'd like to see some 50 to 60-yard touchdown passes.
Yes, that's what I want to see too. Everybody wants to see that.
Everybody loves that, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I used to walk into meetings. I'm like, how far can I throw a touchdown today? What play can you call so I can throw it the farthest that I can throw it and get everybody out of their chair? Like, at the end of the day, that's all that I wanted to do. That's all that I want to do as a fan. I want to get out of my chair and get excited.
Totally. And I think that Devin, like, he's got the capability, right? Like, we look at what we did in the Vegas Bowl, you know, against Nebraska. And I know different OC and everything.
Sure.
But I feel like kind of in a way the reins were almost taken off, you know, of Dev to be able to take shots. Like, do you agree with that? And do you think we're going to see more of that, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. If we'll see more or not, like, it'll be interesting to see what Morgan does. Kyle's MO, I don't think it's much of a secret how he wanted to win football games. He wanted to run the football and win the time of possession game and not turn it over and do all those things and play like real team football. And again, that recipe works. It worked for a long time for him. Morgan knows that. So it's like he's kind of in a good situation because he can take the best of that and add in his twists and what he thinks and how he wants to do it. I think everybody talks about it, so I can't imagine he's not going to let the offense open up a bit, right? Just out of pure like excitement around the program and kind of inject some fresh energy into it. So, but we won't know till, when's the first game? Probably end of August, something like that, early September. We'll know then for sure.
Yeah.
But it'll be fascinating to see. Change is, a lot of people don't like change. It's different. It's unknown. Shockingly, I think there's a lot of excitement and buzz with Morgan and where the program's headed, which is cool and it's fun to see.
Yeah, I agree totally. What do you think of Bird? I mean, like, you haven't seen him throw a ton or whatever.
Sure.
Like, how do you think he's going to turn out? Because everyone's so stoked about Bird.
I mean, he's super explosive. That's for sure. Like, I feel like, look, I got two young kids, right? So I can't watch every play. Sometimes I'm kind of like running around with them, and then I'll peek up. It seemed like every time that dude touched the ball, he was running for like an 80-yard touchdown. So he's certainly fun to watch. I haven't seen enough, like most people, to really make a judgment on if he can spin it or not. I would imagine he can. He was a highly recruited kid, but it'd be interesting to see him like with a full array of plays and offense and see what would happen. Because I think even like the times he was in, I think the offense was a little watered down and they were trying to run the football with him, right? It'd be interesting to see a full arsenal of the playbook with him. But again, Devin's won a lot of football games, incredibly experienced, can do all the same things really. So he's fun to watch as well. Both those guys, man, are just, they're so explosive in the run game. Like, they're tough to defend. It's really hard.
Yeah, totally. And I hope that, a lot of people would say it's like the offensive line had a big thing to do with that last year. I really do. I mean, I think our offensive line is going to be pretty good this year as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how much of that do you think was the offensive line with like the Avengers on the offensive line?
Yeah.
Or, how much of that is talent?
Yeah. That, I mean, God, they lost all 5, I think, right? So it's a whole new 5. I was talking about this with Bill Riley yesterday on the radio. I don't think I've ever heard of a team that for like 2 years straight had the same offensive front 5, which Utah did the last 2 years. So I think a lot of credit goes to them. Now, like with that being said, Jordan Gross is about the best hire you could have made for that position. Played at the highest level, is a huge name, has been in coaching, like does all the things, checks all the boxes, probably more so than anybody else they could have hired. I don't see him coming in and doing anything except keeping it at a high level. The talent they have and they're able to recruit for that position is better than it's ever been. It just continues to get better and better, it seems. So I think there'll be a little bit of a learning curve the first few weeks, if I'm being honest. But again, you have talented guys like that and a good coach, like still should be able to keep Devin clean and open up, running lanes and hopefully keep the offense moving like it's been.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that. But yeah, anyway, so I was going to talk about a little bit about, after you retired from football, right? You went and did some coaching as well.
Yep.
So your first coaching stop was at Hawaii, right?
Yep.
Quarterbacks coach?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I was right. I think that's sick. So, what was that like? How was it moving from, a player to a coach? Like, because you wanted to be around the game. Sure, I'm still. So
yeah, it was interesting, man. It was pretty crazy. So, Norm was my OC in 2011. He got the head coaching job at Hawaii in 12. When I got hurt, he called me and said, "Hey, do you want to get into coaching?" I knew nothing else other than football, so I was just like, "Sure, I'll get into coaching." Brought me out to Hawaii in January of 2013. Was the QB coach. Went through spring ball. The crazy part that a lot of people don't know is in the summer of that year, our offensive coordinator, we let him go. And Norm called me into his office like 2 weeks before fall camp and was like, "Hey, you're going to call the plays this fall." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, you're going to call it. I trust you. I know you're young, but I don't care." So I went those 2 years at Hawaii as basically the offensive coordinator and play caller, and incredible experience for so many reasons, like having to walk into a room with coaches that had more coaching experience than I had been alive and tell them, like, here's what we're going to do on offense, get them to buy in, get them to be collaborative with me. Huge learning curve, things that I still rely on today in my current job. And then just the ability to, coach I enjoyed it, man. It didn't fill the void of playing, and that was a big reason why I got out of coaching. I thought it would, and it just didn't. It's nowhere near the same. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed living in Hawaii. It's a beautiful place. I didn't get a ton of time off, but when I did, I mean, I'm a beach kid from San Diego. Like, you got the best beaches in the world. So I the experience overall was incredible. I mean, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, but a ton of fun. We had some good years on offense there, and an experience that was, I mean, I was 23, it was crazy. It was insane.
That's crazy. I'm 24, about to turn 25. I'm not going to be calling plays. You know what I mean?
Oddly enough, man, the first game was against SC as a play caller. So I was like,
really?
I got these guys again. So it was crazy, man. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, was there for 2 years. Loved every second of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was just curious about that because I remember it was a big, like, everybody was talking about it when you did. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna go do coaching stuff." We're like, "Oh, that's gonna be cool." I just was wondering how that went, but anyways, dude, sorry, I'm asking you a ton of questions.
You're good, man.
I'm just a fanboy, so I'm love to be here. But yeah, anyways, dude. So I kind of was just wondering this as well. It's like for somebody that goes through like so many different things, especially in a young age as well, kind of just people just kind of get knocked down. It's like it's hard. What kind of have you brought into like your life from that? Like what have you learned from that? Because it's like it's like myself personally, it's like,
Yeah.
when I got things going on, like what can I
Yeah.
bring, to kind of
Yeah.
try to be a better person as far as I go.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's a good question. I mean, I joke with people. I feel like I've lived like 5 different lifetimes already, and I'm only 35. You know what you like what I take away from it, and what I've learned over the years is most people, at least I would consider myself in this category, are pretty resilient. You start to realize what's a need and what's a want. You start to realize what's actually important in life, and how you want to not only like portray yourself, but how you actually want to be as a person, and what's important to you and what your values are. It's easy to be positive and have an outward show of positive energy when everything's going great. But when things start to not go great, whether it's surgeries or being told you can't play football anymore, or getting out of coaching, there's so many things that have happened in my life. It's again, it's like the age old saying, it's you get knocked down, keep getting back up. And if you can do that, like, you start to realize just what you're capable of as a human. I think a lot of people don't know their capabilities fully. I look at myself in the mirror, like I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I'm capable of going through. I know that it takes a lot to really, like, I mean, I wake up every day, man, so happy and so full of gratitude for the life I get to live. And it's because of those times that I've been through, that show this is what can happen and what it can look like and how fast things can change. And so just enjoy the process, man. I think that's what this life's about. So many people are so worried about how fast can I make as much money as I can, or how many likes I got, or all that stuff. And it's like, dude, just enjoy what's in front of you. Like I said, I have 2 young kids. They grow like weeds, man. I remember when my son was born, he's already almost turning 5. My daughter just turned 2. It's like, dude, I go home and all they want is dad, to play with dad. None of this even mattered. Work doesn't, it's like you start to realize what's important. And all of the things I've gone through in my life have definitely showed me that. And again, some that I lean on, right? Like, what can you go back to when things get tough to help you get out of this, right? And usually it's your why, or things you've gone through. And so being solidified in that and knowing who I am, have been huge, like, positives that have come out of some of the darker times in my life.
I love that, man. Yeah. I gotta print that off and like put it on my wall, or, to get hyped up in the morning. I want to be like you. I want to have that positive.
Man. You need to listen to like Jocko or some of these other guys that'll actually get you hyped up. You
get me more hyped up than them. Come on, you know how it goes. Anyways, thank you, man. For sure, for real. Last thing I wanted to ask you, just everybody asks this, but it's like, what do you? It's a little bit of a different tone, but what do you think we're doing? Utah's record 2026.
Okay.
We do give just a prediction. What's the ceiling? What's the floor? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, not to put too much pressure on Morgan's first year, but I think like another 10-win season is pretty reasonable for an expectations. I mean, gosh, I'd love to see them win the Big 12 and go to the playoff. I think that's the only thing kind of missing in the recent years, right? Like, when the Pac-12 went to the Rose Bowl, couldn't get a win, but it was so cool being at both of those games and seeing Utah in the Rose Bowl. I think seeing Utah in a playoff game would be amazing. They're good enough to do it. I think it's a reasonable expectation. I still think like Texas Tech's going to be pretty tough. I think the team in Provo has kind of got our number the last couple of years. They're going to be tough again. But yeah, trust me, man. I live in Utah County. I'm surrounded by it. So
you do?
I bring red down here. I wear red every day and slowly try to convert everybody around me. But yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. Another 10, 11 win season, and like get to the Big 12 championship game, find a way to win that thing and get in the playoff.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I love that. We're going to be excited to hear that. But anyways, dude, thank you so much for coming on. For real. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I said this was big for me. I was just a little 7-year-old watching you play football in Right Cycle Stadium. So this was really exciting.
I appreciate it. Anytime.
Yeah, of course. Hey, well, anyways, have a great rest of your day, man. And I appreciate it a ton.
Yeah, man.
All right, see you.